Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we'll explore Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, famous for early cities, writing, laws, and innovations that shaped human history. Mesopotamia, where civilization began. A world history story by the perfect professor. Part 1. Before civilization had a name. Before empires. Before kings crowned themselves with gold. Before history was written. Human beings lived without civilization. They survived. They did not yet organize. They hunted. They gathered. They moved when the land demanded it. Nothing about early humanity suggested cities, laws, or writing. And yet, something changed. That change began in a land later called Mesopotamia, a land defined by rivers. Mesopotamia means the land between rivers. Those rivers were the Tigris and the Euphrates. They were unpredictable. They flooded without warning. They destroyed as often as they nourished. Unlike the gentle Nile, these rivers demanded attention. Survival here required planning, and planning changed humans. From survival to settlement. In most places, movement meant safety. In Mesopotamia, staying became smarter. The floods left fertile soil. Crops grew abundantly if managed. Food surplus appeared for the first time. Surplus changed everything. Not everyone needed to hunt. Some could specialize. Some could organize. The first step toward civilization was not ambition. It was food. Why surplus creates society? Food surplus creates time. Time creates thought. Thought creates structure. When humans stopped worrying about tomorrow's meal, they began asking new questions. Who controls storage? Who resolves disputes? Who decides distribution? These questions demand systems, and systems demand authority. Civilization begins not with monuments, but with management. The first cities. Small settlements grew into cities. Walls appeared, not to conquer, but to protect grain. Temples emerged, not for beauty, but for organization. Priests managed storage. Leaders coordinated labor. Communities accepted hierarchy. This was not tyranny yet. It was necessity. Order replaces instinct. For most of human existence, instinct ruled. In Mesopotamia, rules replaced instinct. Agreements replaced violence. Customs replaced impulse. People learned to live beside strangers permanently. This was revolutionary. Civilization is not buildings. It is restraint. A dangerous innovation. Living together created new problems. Theft, disputes, inequality. When food can be stored, it can be stolen. When land is owned, it can be disputed. When authority exists, it can be abused. Civilization solved survival, but created complexity. Why this place matters. Mesopotamia was not the only fertile region, but it was the first to scale human organization. What emerged here would define the future. Cities, law, writing, bureaucracy, power structures. Everything we call society traces back to this experiment. Professor's reflection, civilization as a risk. Civilization was not inevitable. It was a gamble. Humans traded freedom of movement for stability, instinct for rules, equality for hierarchy. The benefits were enormous. So were the costs. But once taken, this path could not be reversed. Part 2. The first cities and the birth of power. Civilization does not grow quietly. Once humans settle, power appears. And once power appears, it demands structure. The rise of the first city-states. In southern Mesopotamia, small farming communities expanded into the world's first true cities. Among them were places like Sumer, a cluster of city-states rather than a single empire. Each city functioned as its own world. It had its own gods, its own leaders, its own laws, its own conflicts. Civilization was born fragmented, not unified. Why cities needed authority. As populations grew, cooperation could no longer rely on kinship. Strangers lived side by side. Resources had to be allocated. Labor had to be organized. Someone had to decide. Authority emerged not from conquest, but from coordination. those who managed food, and labor gained influence. Influence hardened into power. Temples before palaces. The earliest centers of authority were not royal courts. They were temples. Religion offered.
Moral legitimacy.
Social unity. A shared explanation for chaos. Floods, droughts, and disasters needed meaning. Gods provided it. Priests became administrators. Ritual became regulation. Faith became governance. Power claims the divine. Over time, leaders learned an essential lesson. Power lasts longer when it feels sacred. Kings did not present themselves as ordinary men. They ruled by divine favor. Obedience became duty. Resistance became sacrilege. This fusion of religion and authority would dominate human politics for millennia. The emergence of inequality. Surplus created hierarchy. Those closest to storage and distribution gained wealth. Those farthest from it labored. Classes emerged. Priests, administrators, artisans, farmers, laborers. Inequality was no longer temporary. It became permanent. Civilization organized difference and locked it in place. Cities as engines of conflict. City-states competed constantly. Land disputes, water access, trade routes. War became organized. Not chaotic raids, but planned campaigns. Walls were built. Armies trained. Violence professionalized. Civilization did not eliminate war. It refined it. Why fragmentation persisted? Mesopotamia never unified early. Geography worked against it. Flat land meant easy invasion. Rivers shifted unpredictably. Defense was difficult. Instead of one empire, many cities rose and fell. This instability accelerated innovation. Survival required adaptation. Power learns to record. As administration grew complex, memory failed. Who owed what? Who owned which land? Who delivered how much grain? Oral tradition was no longer enough. Civilization needed permanence. It would soon invent it. Professor's reflection. Power is a tool, not a trait. The first rulers were not born powerful. They became powerful by managing complexity. Civilization did not reward strength alone. It rewarded organization. And organization created authority that outlived individuals. Part 3, Writing, Law, and the Birth of Control. Civilization cannot function on memory alone. As societies grow, forgetting becomes dangerous.
Who owes grain?
Who owns land? Who broke the rules? In Mesopotamia, the answer to complexity was not trust. It was record. Why writing was invented. Writing did not begin as poetry or philosophy. It began as accounting, grain inventories, labor records, trade transactions. Symbols scratched into clay tracked reality more reliably than human recall. This system became cuneiform. At first, it served power. Later, it reshaped thought. When records become authority. Once information was written, it became permanent. What was written could be enforced. What was enforced could be punished. Authority moved from people to documents. This mattered because documents do not forget. They do not forgive. They standardize. Civilization gained consistency, but lost flexibility. The need for law. Rules had always existed informally, but informal rules collapse under pressure. As inequality grew, disputes multiplied. Who is right when two people disagree? The answer could no longer depend on strength or status alone. Civilization demanded something new.
Law.
The first legal codes. Mesopotamian societies developed written laws to regulate behavior. These laws defined crimes, assigned punishments, clarified property rights, established social order. Justice became predictable, not fair by modern standards, but consistent. Consistency mattered more than compassion. Law reflects power. These early laws were not equal. Punishment depended on status. Elites faced lighter consequences. Laborers faced harsher ones. Law did not eliminate inequality. It formalized it. Justice became structured hierarchy. The Code of Hammurabi. Perhaps the most famous example is the Hammurabi's legal code. Carved into stone, Displayed publicly, it declared, "The law is visible. The law is permanent. The law is backed by authority." This was revolutionary. For the first time, power announced its rules openly. Punishment as deterrence. Early law relied heavily on punishment. Severe punishment.
Why?
Because enforcement resources were limited. Fear replaced surveillance. Justice was not designed to reform. It was designed to deter. Writing changes thought itself. Writing did more than control behavior. It changed how humans thought. Ideas could be revisited. Knowledge could accumulate. Learning could transcend generations. Civilization gained memory, and memory made progress possible. The cost of control. But control had a price. Spontaneity faded. Custom hardened. Innovation slowed where law resisted change. Civilization gained stability. It lost innocence. Professor's reflection. Order is never neutral. Writing and law made civilization possible. They also made power permanent. Once rules are written, they protect order, and those who benefit from it. Civilization's greatest invention was not writing. It was control. Part 4: Empire, War, and the Normalization of Violence. Civilization did not make humans peaceful. It made violence organized. As cities grew wealthier, they also grew vulnerable. And vulnerability invites force. Why Mesopotamia became a battlefield. Mesopotamia had no natural defenses. No mountains.
No seas.
No forests dense enough to slow armies. Flat land made agriculture easy, and invasion easier. Cities could be reached quickly. Resources could be seized easily. War became frequent. From city-states to empires. Competition among cities intensified. Some cities conquered others. Victories created larger territories. Territories required administration. Thus, the empire was born, not from ideology, but from security needs. Power learns to expand. Once conquest began, it accelerated. Why stop after one victory? More land meant more grain, more labor, more taxes. Expansion rewarded itself. Empires learned that peace required dominance. War as a permanent condition. In Mesopotamia, war was not exceptional. It was routine. Armies were professionalized. Weapons standardized. Tactics refined. Violence became policy. Peace was temporary. The psychological shift. This constant conflict reshaped mindset. Children grew up expecting war. Cities planned for siege. Rulers justified brutality as necessity. Fear became normal. Security justified cruelty. Conquest and assimilation. Empires did not erase conquered peoples. They absorbed them. Local gods were tolerated. Local customs preserved. What mattered was obedience and tribute. This made Mesopotamian empires adaptable but unstable. Rebellion was always possible. The rise of military kingship. Kings became warriors first. Legitimacy came from victory. A successful king was favored by the gods. A defeated king lost divine support. Politics became inseparable from warfare. Violence as order. Empires enforced order through threat. Punishment was public. Rebellion was crushed decisively. Stability depended on fear. This model would be repeated across history. Why innovation accelerated. Ironically, insecurity drove progress. Better weapons, stronger walls, improved administration. Competition forced innovation. Mesopotamia advanced because survival demanded it. Professor's reflection. Civilization makes violence efficient. Mesopotamia teaches a harsh truth. Civilization does not eliminate violence.
It organizes it.
War becomes systematic. Power becomes scalable. The structures built to protect society also perfect its capacity to destroy. Part 5: Daily Life, Belief, and the Human Cost of Civilization. Civilization is often measured by what it builds, but its true cost is revealed by how people live inside it. Mesopotamia built cities, laws, and empires. But what did it build for the ordinary human being? Life for the many, not the few. Most people in Mesopotamia were not kings or priests. They were farmers. They rose with the sun, worked the fields, paid taxes in grain, returned to homes made of mud brick. Life was repetitive and fragile. Floods could destroy harvests. War could erase years of labor. Illness could end a life suddenly. Civilization reduced uncertainty. It did not remove it. Class was inescapable. Birth determined destiny. If you were born into privilege, law protected you. If you were born into labor, law restrained you. Upward movement was rare. Social roles were inherited. Civilization offered order, but at the price of mobility. Women in early civilization. Women held defined but limited roles. They could own property in some cases, participate in trade, serve as priestesses, but authority was overwhelmingly male. Marriage was contractual. Inheritance favored sons. Law prioritized lineage. Civilization formalized patriarchy. What had been custom became rule. Slavery as an institution. Slavery existed before civilization. Mesopotamia institutionalized it. Debt could enslave. War could enslave. Poverty could enslave. Slaves were property, but also people. They worked households, fields, and workshops. Civilization required labor. Not all of it was free. Gods of fear and uncertainty. Religion in Mesopotamia reflected anxiety. The gods were powerful, but unpredictable. They caused floods. They sent disease. They punished without warning. Humans did not expect mercy. They hoped for avoidance. Rituals were defensive. Prayer was negotiation. Why fear dominated belief? Nature was uncontrollable. Rivers flooded. Droughts followed.
War erupted.
Gods explained chaos. If disaster struck, it was punishment. If prosperity arrived, it was favor. Religion reinforced obedience to gods and to kings who claimed divine support. The psychological weight of civilization. Living in cities meant constant comparison. Wealth was visible. Power was visible. Inequality was unavoidable. Civilization intensified awareness. People knew where they stood, and most stood below. Did civilization improve life? The answer is uncomfortable. Yes and no. Civilization provided food security sometimes, protection occasionally, meaning and structure. It also introduced inequality,
Permanent labor.
institutional violence, psychological pressure. Life became longer for society, not necessarily better for individuals. The trade humanity accepted. Mesopotamia reveals the original trade: freedom for stability, equality for order, instinct for rule. Once accepted, it became irreversible. No civilization has ever fully gone back. Professor's reflection: progress is not the same as happiness. Civilization advanced humanity's capacity. It did not guarantee fulfillment. The Mesopotamians built the first structured world and paid for it with hierarchy, fear, and labor. Every civilization since has inherited this bargain. Part 6: The Legacy of Mesopotamia. Civilization did not begin with philosophy. It began with administration. And no place demonstrates this more clearly than Mesopotamia. Everything that followed in human history, empires, laws, cities, and systems of power, rests on foundations laid here. What Mesopotamia gave the world. Mesopotamia did not invent perfection. It invented structure. From this land came the first cities, the first writing systems, the first legal codes, the first bureaucracies, the first empires. These were not abstract achievements. They were solutions to practical problems: how to manage food, how to control labor, how to resolve conflict, how to enforce authority. Civilization began as problem solving. Why writing changed everything forever. Writing transformed power. Before writing, authority depended on presence and memory. After writing, authority became permanent. Rules could be stored. Orders could travel. Knowledge could accumulate. This allowed civilizations to grow beyond human scale. No modern institution exists without this inheritance. Law as civilization's backbone. Law turned chaos into predictability. It did not create justice in a moral sense. It created consistency. That consistency allowed trade to expand, cities to function, empires to govern. Modern legal systems, flawed and unequal, are descendants of Mesopotamian logic. Not fairness first, order first, empire as a template. Mesopotamia proved that power could be scaled. Conquest followed administration. Administration followed writing. Writing followed surplus. This sequence repeated endlessly. Assyria, Babylon, Persia,
Rome.
Civilizations learned that domination required systems, not just strength. The cost that never disappeared. Mesopotamia also created problems humanity never solved. Inequality became permanent. Hierarchy became normal. Violence became institutional. Civilization locked advantage into structure. Once systems benefit some more than others, reform becomes difficult. This tension still defines modern societies. Why we still live in Mesopotamia's shadow. We no longer farm between the Tigris and Euphrates, but we still obey written laws, trust institutions, accept hierarchy, trade freedom for stability. Cities today operate on Mesopotamian principles. Governments today enforce Mesopotamian logic. Civilization did not evolve past its origin. It expanded it. The final question Mesopotamia leaves us: was civilization worth the cost? Mesopotamia does not answer this. It presents the bargain humanity accepted: security over freedom, order over equality, progress over simplicity. Every generation lives with that choice. Final reflection. The first step is the hardest to escape. Mesopotamia did not know it was inventing civilization. It was trying to survive floods, scarcity, and conflict. But survival demanded organization. Organization demanded power. And power reshaped humanity permanently. The first civilization did not end. It multiplied. Closing words from the perfect professor. History does not begin with greatness. It begins with necessity. Mesopotamia reminds us that civilization was not destiny. It was a decision that still defines how we live, govern, and understand the world. Lessons from the past, stories for the present. Before we end, I have a question for you. If you could visit one Mesopotamian city, Uruk, Ur, or Babylon, which would you choose and why? Let me know in the comments. That's all for today's video on Mesopotamia. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.